Feeling a little vibey today, you know what I mean? Feeling a little vibey today. A little bit of jazz, a little bit of that New Orleans. Hey, hey, hey. Feeling good, the sun is shining. My man Mo, Ramadan Kareem, fam. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the MixtKid's Club. My name is Ian Riddick. How we doing? Feeling good about that one. Feeling good about that one. You know, we like to start with a little bit of vibe, and today that's what I felt like I was doing. So, what we got going on? Fabulous young lady who I met a couple years back. Was very fortunate enough to meet a couple years back. Who, to be honest, I just recently found out was also mixed with a plethora of wonderfulness. So she's already sent in the request. So without further ado, let me go ahead and get her in here because she's wonderful. She's fabulous. Leonie, if you'd be so kind to join us, let's do this thing. Leonie Tanasic.
Hey.
What's up, girl? How you doing?
I'm great.
I got a little something for you. For everyone who's welcoming Leonie to the party, Leonie, welcome to the party.
Hey. It's so good. Sorry. I have
Ooh, mommy time. I like it.
but yeah, how have you been?
Man, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Super excited to finally get on here.
I mean, we're going to have to start all the way from the beginning of this because for those that saw last week, I found out Leonie was mixed and we didn't even have that conversation because we couldn't, but we are going to have it right now. I bet we are. I bet we are. So tell me, boo boo. Tell me. So mom is what? Dad is what? Let's get this party started.
So my mom is from Guyana, South America. Look at me already.
Look at you.
Hi, Daddy. My daddy just commented. Sorry.
I know. I see. What's up, Milos? Milos has fabulous taste in women, by the way, in case anyone's wondering, because that's Leonie's husband. So there's that.
But yeah, and then my dad is from Honduras, which is Central America.
Very true. Very
Yes.
true. And you grew up where?
I grew up in New York. I was born in New York, in Brooklyn, and I lived a bit of my life, a chunk of my life there until I was about 14, and then I moved to Florida. I did some of junior high school, college in Florida, and then right after college, I decided to move back to New York. And then I was in New York for like maybe 4 years, and then I came to Dubai, and it's been 6 years, a little over 6 years that I've been here now.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, Leonie is a super famous international model, so there's that. I mean, look. All I'm saying is people can see you, so you can't sit there and talk about was. They're looking at your face. They understand what's going on. Yeah, she had billboards all over Sheikh Zayed Road in Dubai. She's globally known for Abercrombie and Fitch, where she met her amazingly Viking-looking husband. I mean, I'm just saying, this is the product.
We have super mixed kids now.
Super mixed kids.
And then my mix. I mean, thankfully he's only Serbian, so they're probably gonna be so confused. Like I remember as a kid when people would be like, "Oh, where are you from?" or "What's your background?" And then like, first off, Guyana isn't that wide. No, neither is Honduras. Like when you hear Spanish countries, you're hearing like Spain, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, especially in the stateside. But
yeah, stateside for sure.
It's not that far. It's just in Central America, right below. But when I say that, oh, okay. And then my mom being from Guyana, they mix that up with like Guinea or I don't know. And they're like, oh, where's that? Is that in Africa? It's just like.
Well, I was going to say, I'm sure most people would be like this. Oh, so she's from Ghana? No, that's not what I said.
That I did not do.
Yeah, like that's not. No, those are two different places. Oh, what's up, Jazzy? Okay, little sis in the building.
point, and she's actually supposed to be at my house right now. Jasmine, come on. Like, you could have made a little
Oh,
guest appearance.
we could have got a twofer.
Right. She messed that one
Jazzy,
up.
you slipping. Jazzy, you slipping.
um,
Um, so so you spent a lot of time in New York, spent a lot of time in Florida. Uh,
mhm.
let's talk about where you went to school. Let's talk about that. Where did you go to
College.
university?
So I
Yeah.
started out university actually at Stetson, which is in Florida. Stetson University. It's a really small private school, predominantly white. I was like one of, I could, less than 50 in a school of maybe 4,000. It was small, but I mean, 50 maybe non-white students, and we all like clicked up together. And it
Hmm.
was Black, it was Hispanic, it was Middle Eastern, everything.
Hmm.
And I was there for 2 years, and then I actually went to the great Bethune-Cookman University in HBCU.
Talk to him now.
Yeah, and I actually graduated from there. And that, I mean, both college experiences were very, very unique.
Hmm.
Especially, I mean, being raised in the States, I've been around lots of different cultures, but both
Especially
universities,
being in Brooklyn, I would assume.
exactly, yeah. Um, both universities were just so culturally different. I mean, I had an amazing time at both of them. Stetson was very prim and proper, um, super rich white kids, and it was definitely fun. But the best experience was for sure at my HBCU at Bethune Cookman. It was just such a different environment being around what I felt like was my kind of people, you know?
Okay.
It was really great. And there I also had a unique experience because I was part of the band. I didn't play an instrument, but I think I told you I was a dancer.
Mhm. Yeah.
If anyone has ever seen Drumline, that's pretty much what I did. I was a dancer in the band, like at football games and all that stuff. Yeah. And it's so funny because like people that know me now don't really know me for my dancing. So it's interesting. It's always interesting to talk about.
I mean, I've seen you shimmy a little bit, but I don't think I've seen you fully go. So I can't speak on the dancing abilities, but obviously,
I
that
have to
was.
send you a YouTube clip
Oh,
one
you
day.
you must.
I
You
can't wait to show my
absolutely
kids. I'm super excited
must.
about
It's I understand that because similarly on the athletic side of things, a lot of people that don't know me from before, I played D1 football in the States, and a lot of people don't know me as an athlete just because that's not nearly as much a part of who I am now as it
it.
was
Right.
back in the day when that's really what it was. And so when people are like this, you're athletic, like you can do things, and it's so I understand when people like this, you used to dance? What do you mean,
I know it's
dance?
like a sign that I'm really getting old too. Like, I mean, I know I'm like mom bod all the way now, and people now know me just for being a mom. But like, I used to get it back then.
I mean, let's be honest, you've been pregnant for about half the time I've known you.
I know
I
that
mean,
is.
when you first got pregnant, I was like, "Oh, that's so sweet! Congratulations, you guys are gonna have a baby. That's amazing." And then you had a baby, and I think like 3 hours later, you were pregnant again. I was like, "This how y'all didn't even breathe."
I know, Milos. Like,
Hey! It takes
hi,
two to
number three.
tango.
Number
It,
three, let's go.
whoa,
I'm not
whoa!
even sure if it's still on.
I don't know. I'm sure he's trying to make somebody their best self right now. He's
Probably.
somewhere in the gym moving weight, something, stacking, a
Yes.
trillion kilos on some leg press or something. Oh, Jazzy's trying to be auntie for the third time. She's ready.
My friend Marcus, y'all need to watch some TV sometimes. We do, and
Basically,
that's how it starts. Netflix and
it,
chill. Like, come on.
y'all need to more Netflix and less chill. Y'all be chilling. So
Uh,
so now, being that most of your heritage is of Hispanic descent, if you will, I feel
mhm.
like a lot the Guyana, Honduras. I have to ask, are you multilingual?
I actually, my Spanish is poor. So this is
Ooh.
uh, as a kid growing up, so obviously my dad, everyone on my dad's side speaks Spanish. And my mom just joined. She's probably just so nosy to know what I'm saying.
She wants to hear about it.
One,
You got to speak good about mom. By the way, hi
yeah,
mom, miss you.
she's actually here. She's downstairs right now being nosy. I don't know why she just doesn't come up.
Oh, she don't come to the ladies no more. Okay, that's what's up.
She just got here. She just got here. She'll come. She'll come.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, so back to the language thing. So every time my grandparents lived in Florida when I was growing up, and anytime there was any kind of conversation going on where they just didn't want me to know what was being said, obviously they would switch to Spanish. So that always made me so intrigued to learn from I was young. So anytime I had the opportunity to take a foreign language or anything in school or outside of school, wherever, I was taking Spanish. But I don't know what happened. I guess because I just never got conversational with it. Like, I don't get me wrong, I can get by very well, but it's just like I just don't feel comfortable. I guess because it's not my first language too. So
Hmm.
and it's like overthinking the conjugations and everything in my head. I can hold a good conversation, but a secret conversation, with my mom, sorry.
Hmm. So they're probably
Um,
talking about you.
yeah, and it's so funny because now, like looking back, I every time someone needed help with the Spanish homework, my brother or my sister, I'd be like the first one in there, like, "Oh, I know what I'm talking about," you know?
And now, so moving that to the next generation of little babies, they clearly are going to know at least Serbian, definitely English, because you
I
gotta,
am slowly trying to incorporate Spanish. Serbian is a given. Like Milos is one of those hardcore Serbians where, like, first off, my kid's gonna have Serbian names, which we agreed on. And they have to learn Serbian like out the first thing.
yeah,
And I'm like, oh, that's not going to be their first language. Like he was adamant about it being their first language. I'm like, look at where we live. First off, there's no way that's going to happen.
fair.
But I think he's slowly starting to see now. Sophia's really great at understanding everything Serbian so far, and she's only 2.5 now. So she's great at understanding, and sometimes she'll respond. But obviously, because mostly English is being, spoken around and everything, that's what she'll respond in most of the time. But I mean, she's still really young and she's still, I mean, getting a grasp on English as it is. So I think she'll be great. She seems like she picks up languages really easily. I mean, even for English words, like if I say something, she doesn't even need to repeat it like 5 times to say it perfectly. She can say it once and that's it.
Now, are you learning Serbian? Because at some point, your husband and your children are going to be talking about you in secret conversations because you don't know what's going on.
That is all I think about. I'm like, let me try to figure out. And sometimes I know I be hearing a little tidbits. I've been catching on. So there's certain keywords that I hear, and I'm like, oh, what you talking about? You talking about this? You talking about that? So I am picking it up, but it is difficult. Like I thought Spanish was hard. This is like on another level. Like they've got words to describe things so eloquently. Like I can't even begin to explain because it's words that for the English language we don't have.
Yeah, yeah.
Really beautiful. I really hope one day that I could. My friends are saying I'm nosy. I
Um,
really
uh,
do hope because I
that's
gotta know
not
it.
wrong. That's not wrong.
I gotta know it. I feel so bad because my in-laws, like they also, my father-in-law not so much because that's also a language barrier for me as well. Trying to communicate with them. My
Hmm.
father-in-law's English is great. My mother-in-law, it's good, but she thinks it's bad. So she'll always try to like say it in Serbian, trying to get me to force it out.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's a
But yeah,
comfort
it's
thing.
good practice for me.
Yeah. Now going back to you as a kid growing up in Brooklyn, did you, what was that like? Did you ever feel like you did or didn't belong as part of a group, or was there ever something where people looked at you differently because you're not from here or you're not exactly like us? Was that ever a situation for you?
Now thinking back, it wasn't as bad as it was when I was growing up. So being younger in Brooklyn, because it is also super diverse there,
Yeah,
the area
yeah.
that I lived in is a really big West Indian community as well. So we had lots of Spanish, lots of Guyanese, lots of Jamaicans, which all of them sort of kind of have the same struggles as my parents' countries.
Okay.
So it wasn't that bad. The only thing I would get was like, "Oh, you got nice hair. Like you're the girl with the nice hair." That was it. You know, everybody's hair was maybe kinkier than mine or whatever. And actually, my hair wasn't this curly as it is now. And now my hair isn't even as curly as it used to be before the kids. But my hair was super thin, super like kind of wavy. And I was a lot lighter, which is
So
weird.
you were Leonie with the good hair?
I was Leonie with the good hair. So yeah, I did get that a lot, but the neighborhood that I lived in, it really wasn't that bad because everybody was sort of kind of mixed.
Yeah.
But when I moved to Florida, then definitely I started to stand out a little bit more and also felt, you know, a little bit of pressure. Like I needed to be something maybe that I obviously wasn't.
Hmm. And where did that come from? What was that? Why was that the situation, or
Um,
why was that the feeling?
yeah, so I moved to Florida when I was in junior high school. I think it was in yeah, I was in seventh grade. I also lived in a neighborhood where it was lots of rich white kids. So I always stood out. I don't know how else to say it. It was just like I was very different, and they
Hmm.
also talked to me maybe differently. There were also a small group of Black kids in my school too. So I, off the bat, would sort of kind of hang with them because that's what I knew from New York, you know?
Yeah.
Those like my friends, and they all welcomed me easily. But with the white kids, I always felt like I needed to like one up myself or something to maybe fit in with them.
Hmm.
Whether it's been, oh, cell phones came out, my mom got me this like really nice Sprint flip phone when everyone was having like the Nokia, I don't remember what Nokia it was, but like that, I don't know, one the size of
Yeah.
your palm,
Yeah.
snake, that one. Um, so like little things like that, like, yeah, you know, I got my little flip phone. I little little things to make me sort of kind of feel like I was on their level, if that made any
Sure.
sense.
Okay.
And that also continued up until college, because like I said, the first school that I went to was a predominantly white school, also really like old historic, so lots of like people that are second and third generation to that school. And um it also carried on to there where I felt like I needed to kind of fit in.
Hmm.
But yeah, once I got to Cookman, that sort of kind of I got to be more of myself and who I was, and which was a lot better.
It's interesting you say that because initially I thought, obviously going into that era of your life, right? Going into middle school, going into high school is hard to do in general. Then it's even
Hmm.
harder to do when you're the new kid because you have all
Yeah,
these other kids that have been hanging out with each other, growing up with each other, knowing each other for 6, 7, 8, 9 years, 10 years, and then all of a sudden here comes the new kid, and that's always difficult to be thrust into that situation. And then on top of that, the third level of that would be being in a situation or a community that is new as far as visually and culturally you're not used to this type of community. um, all of those layers compound on each other can make it difficult in that time, in those formative years where you're trying to figure out what's going on with who you are and what's going on in the world around you. um, so it's interesting that both middle school, high school, and then your first college at Stetson were difficult, or not difficult, but unique in the fact that there was added pressure based on your surroundings. And then when you got to Bethune-Cookman, you were like this, yo, I'm home. Here we are. Like, I
yeah.
need to be here.
And it's interesting too, and this is why I wish Jazzy was here, because my sister and we have almost a 6 year age gap. So
Hmm.
when we moved to Florida, she was still in elementary school, and she was like maybe, I don't know, in third grade,
Hmm.
maybe second. Um, but we were like talking the other day, and obviously, like, you know, with probably your brother as well, like you guys have similar friends, you know, most of the, you know, family, you have this kind of bond with a sibling that
Hmm.
you won't have anyone else. And
Sure.
we were talking, and she sort of kind of has this whole different perspective than I do. Because like you said, we moved there, she was still young. So she sort of kind of had time to groom herself into that versus me trying to awkwardly fit into the
Yeah.
scenario, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Because
yeah,
I mean, even my brother and I are much closer.
hmm
So we're 3 years apart. So even when we were in high school, I was a senior, he was a freshman. We definitely had a lot of overlap friends, you know, give a year or two difference. Um, and so a lot of the people that he knew, I know, and a lot of people I know would look after him and some of his friends and whatnot. But 6 years it's a big gap. That's a
yeah.
very big gap, especially during that time of life. 6 years now, we're like this, whatever. But 6 years at that time is a big gap. And I could see how that would assist her in acclimating to the group because yeah, when you're in third grade, whatever. I mean, you don't get to play with your friends as much, but it's not. I don't know. I would assume it's not as
Well, according to
impactful,
her, yeah,
but
it was really easy for her to adapt. Yeah.
I mean, we also know Jazzy's about as nonchalant as anybody. He was just like, yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Exactly.
So what? So let's talk about when people, because I had this reaction, right? When I found out, I was like this, okay, I initially just thought, well, I didn't give it much thought, right? So I was like this, oh, Leonie, oh, there's Jasmine. These guys are sisters, these two ladies are sisters. Makes sense. I just assumed they're black girls from Brooklyn. Never really gave it much thought, never really looked into it or really talked about it too much. So now, was that something that regularly occurred with you? Did people know? Were people surprised? Was it not an issue? How did that play out for you, the course of life?
Um, I think most people, that's why I was shocked when you were like, you're mixed. I feel like the reaction that I always get from people are like, oh, what are you? Like, it'll be like, oh, what's your name? You know, how are you? Nice to meet you. Oh, where are you from? Like, oh, but where are you really from? Or where are your parents from? You know?
Yeah.
Because off the bat, like, I never introduce myself and be like, oh, I'm half Guyanese, half Honduran. I just be like,
Why
oh,
would you?
I'm from New York.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm from New York, but then it goes, it's like, oh, okay, you're from New York, but where are you really from? Or like, you know, what are you mixed with, pretty much?
Yeah, because you can definitely see it, right? Like people, if you're looking at me like this, that's it's not surprising, I should say. It's not surprising like this. No, I'm mixed. I was like this. I get it. I mean, I see you, but at the same time, I never really gave it much energy.
Hmm.
Right, wrong, or indifferent. I didn't really think about it much. Um, so then, how did that work? This is always a fun topic that people like to discuss because people are nosy in general. So how did this work in dating life? Was this ever a situation where some people it was a benefit, it was not a benefit? Was it how did that play out in life?
Um, I mean, I never really thought about it as a benefit or anything like that. I remember like in elementary school, um, I like I said, people would obviously pick me out because I had different hair. I think that was the more thing that kids would notice. Like, oh, she has
Mm.
different. And I remember like there was a time, if my mom's still on here, she'll probably laugh. But there was a group of boys and they were like passing around a picture. And my teacher found it and it was like, and this was like third grade. They had drawn like a naked picture of me. And when
In
they
third
got
grade?
in third grade, yes.
What's going on in Brooklyn? Hold on a minute.
When they got called, and I'm still friends with these guys, by the way, like still great friends because I went to a small school. Also, we all went to my mom, I remember.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we grew up together, you know, and I was like the first one to leave and move off. But, anyways, they drew this naked picture of me. When they got in trouble, their whole excuse was, we really like her, you know, like that was, well, mom, I was livid. We really like her. So, that honestly followed me. I felt like every class I went to, I always, I mean, I guess everyone is like this maybe, but there was always like a boy crushing on me or something like that. And when I went to college, it was like even worse, especially being on a dance team that everyone in the school knew about, especially like in the Black culture. Everyone knows HBCUs, everyone knows these girls as dancers, that was just like more enticing. So the dating scene was
I mean,
mambo.
you're,
I just brought
let's
so
be
many
honest, you,
guys, probably can't
in
believe
all
it.
reality, you were a prize, right? I mean, and you still, obviously, you still are. You're a fantastic human being, but unfortunately, that's not what people were looking at. They weren't,
Yeah.
that wasn't the motivation behind, trying to win the prize, if you will.
Mhm.
They were trying to get the pretty girl that had, like you said, at HBCUs, um, the that level of
The
celebrity
different
that comes
girl.
along. Yeah, yeah. Or, ooh, girl, you foreign, you different. What's up, though? You little, you're unique, you're exotic. What's going on? You know what I mean? It's that's a thing. That's
Yeah.
actually a thing.
My
Um,
taste in guys has always been sort of kind of all over the place. Like I never had one kind of guy that I liked. It was like short, it was tall. My friend goes, tell him about the guy that stopped his car
stop
downtown.
it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, we're clapping.
We,
Oh, okay, this is serious. We're clapping. Let me get settled in for this.
this was in college. We were out in downtown Orlando with my friends. Literally, downtown Orlando is like any big city in the nightlife. Like there are clubs on every corner. So we're just like going bar to bar. And I mean, what year was this? This could have easily been like 2007. Yeah, maybe 2007, 2008-ish. So MySpace was big. I had a really big MySpace
I'm
following.
sure you did. I know you. I'm sure you did.
And we're just walking down the street. I'm looking cute. I'm walking with my friends. Marcus, who's asked, oh, it was Classic Weekend. Do you know about the Classic? Yeah, so
Go
it
on.
was Classic
Go
Weekend.
on.
This was even before I was a 14K. My mom, do I need to exit? So we're walking down the street and all the like souped up cars with like the wheels and everything and like the hydraulics are just
Yeah.
driving by. And this guy, I don't remember verbatim what he yells at, but he gets out his window and he's just like, hey, hey, you that girl from MySpace? You Leonie? And I was like, God, I was so that was like my first moment where I was like, oh my God, somebody outside of my cyber world recognized me. I was dead. My friends were like,
Girl, you you
oh
you were the first Instagram model. You were the first IG celebrity.
God. Uh, I used to go, because of that post, I used to go hard on my Instagram, but now not only do I feel like maybe I don't have the time, I still scroll and like troll and watch people's things.
Yeah.
But shout out to Ali because Ali went to Cookman. He just popped on and he lives here in Dubai.
Okay,
Um,
word. What's up? What's up,
yeah,
Ali? How you doing?
only homie that we still haven't actually met. We didn't meet at Cookman or anything like that. I can't even remember. I think either I found him or he found me on LinkedIn and we were both like, whoa, you went to Cookman and you live in Dubai? Like, we got
Were
to
y'all
meet
there at
up.
the same time?
I think I graduated before him. He
Okay.
might be like 2 or 3 years under me. Yeah.
Word. Well, you'll have to
Um,
get that. You'll have to get that in face hello sometime soon.
yeah, yeah, we definitely need to get together.
So I want to touch on the fact that, and actually a friend of mine messaged me today and was like, "Yo, here's an article that you should look into for the next time you do a Mixed Kids Club." And I think this is relevant uh, now. And they're talking about the Dante Wright situation, where
Mm,
for one of the first times, I don't possibly the first time, but don't I'm not for sure about that, when we've seen all of these killings taken place all these deaths taken place at the hands of police officers with people of color. And for the first time, I believe, the person who's giving the press conference talking about, I can't believe my baby's gone, they shot my child, it's a white person.
Mm-hmm.
because Dante Wright's mother is white, and she's on there talking about her little minority baby, her baby of color that is now gone, and it sits differently
I'm sure a lot
because
of people were also shocked, and probably a lot of white people. I think most black people can see that he's some kind of mix.
yeah,
But a lot of white people that probably were watching it was like, who's that lady? Like, you know.
and it's because I immediately thought, well, that could for sure be my mom. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and it could always have been my mom, because if something were to ever happen to me, it would be my mom on TV. But the
Right.
difference now is the people that were on TV before didn't look like my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Mm-hmm.
very interesting to me because you don't think about it until you have to think about it.
Right.
And I guess where that brings me to is, here in Dubai it's a bit different, and that's a given. It's very different.
Mm-hmm.
But what's up, Voin? Uh, have you spoken? What are the conversations with you and Milos like? Because he comes from a very different situation, and how does that work? How does what are those conversations like?
I mean, obviously, we are shocked that this is still going on. And it's just like month, week, week after week now. It's just like a new thing. And it's so tragic, so heartbreaking. And for him, I mean, it's eye-opening. He's from a really, really small town in Serbia. He's never been to the States. He only goes by what he sees off the media or what I've told him, because he's never dated anyone from the States. So it is interesting. Like, we have super interesting conversations, not about this, about anything Black Lives Matter related, everything. Um, as to what's going on into the States right now is like super intriguing to him, to the point where if you asked him what's currently going on in Serbia, I don't think he could even tell you, but he knows every big news topic that's happening in the States, this one included. And yeah, it's tragic. And we also, like, obviously have to relate it back to our kids, right? Because they are super mixed. If you've ever seen my kids, they look really white. I mean, at least Sophia right now, you can tell she's a little mixed, even though, which we'd have to after this talk about,
Uh-oh.
because I start getting the side eye as, is that the mom? But
Oh, yep. We can get. I'm absolutely. We'll get into that.
yeah, Mate looks completely white. He looks
Oh yeah.
so white. Yeah. So I mean, that could very well also one day be my daughter, or, you know, I mean, maybe Mattia will get some color soon, but
Hey, it's okay to
it's
be light skinned, Leonie. It's okay to be light skinned.
light skin, but a little tan. He need a little bit of tan.
Hey, just take him. It's
Uh,
always sunny in Dubai. Take him out to the beach a little bit.
I know. I will. I will.
Get
I have
outside, boo
to.
boo. Get outside.
I need to. But yeah, man. I mean, it's really sad what's going on in the States, and it's heartbreaking. And when will it stop?
I don't know. Going on about 400 years or so now. So I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
eh, now? Have you guys ever spoken about possibly moving to the States? Is that a discussion, or is that a nah? Absolutely not. I mean, how does that play out?
Oh, it's a hot topic. It's a hot topic because Milos, of course, wants to go to the States, because in his mind, being Serbian, the States is where you made it.
The
Like,
land of opportunity.
exactly. If you moved to the States, whether it had been New York or Florida, wherever, he's made it. Um, and I even remember, like, when we got married, a lot of his family, they would make this joke, like, oh, you're going to get that American passport now, you know, like
You know what
it's
I'm
such a
saying?
pride thing for them. So he obviously wants to move to the States, even to this day, with everything still going on. He's still talking about, we gotta get going. But me, I don't want to. I never want to raise my kids there, no matter if it's Idaho or it's New York, or I don't want to move back. Like, I really don't have the urge, especially after living here for 6 years. And it's funny because I originally, when I came here, I was on a 2-year contract, and I was like, dang, how am I going to survive 2 years? Like, I can't wait to get back to New York, to what I know, my freedom per se. Um,
Sure.
and I remember my first time going back home after living here, and I stepped foot in JFK, and I was just like, is dirty. Is
It's so
dirty.
different.
People watching me, like I felt so awkward and so out of place. Like the sense of security that I feel here, I and for everybody has their own little thing, but it means a million to me. Like just knowing that nobody can ring my doorbell, but I be leaving my door not wide open, but unlocked. Like
Yep.
it's just so different. I could never do that, whether I was in New York or Florida. I wouldn't feel safe doing
At
that.
all.
Even now, if I was to take my kids to visit the States, I would be sort of kind of scared for them to just play outside in the streets like I used to. Like I used to be double dutching in front of the house or down the block at Bebe's house. Like I it was fun. Like that's what you did as kids. You went out, you played. We didn't have like phones to distract us or whatever. But now, even my little cousins, like my brother's only 16, and it's scary. It's
Yeah.
scary. I never want to move back. Never.
And let's be honest, your brother has an amazing.
Amazing name. Yeah, now I've given him a little cameo doing his uncle duties over there. Uncle Ian. His name is Ian too. You remember Ian? You met him at Miss Lily's.
So
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Okay.
And that's what's up to Ian?
Nothing much. How you been?
Man, I can't complain. I'm over here just trying to live a little bit. You know what I mean?
That's so true.
Yeah, man. I don't know too many kids that have several Uncle Ians, but you know what? Well done. Well done. But yeah, man,
But yeah,
it's so wild
that
because people. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say going back to wait, are you still on the shooting?
I mean, we can talk about whatever you want, kid. It's your world.
I was gonna talk about I was telling my mom this story, I think yesterday too. So one day, actually when I first moved to my new house, we were just sort of kind of, I was giving my sister a tour of the neighborhood. And Sophia was out with her nanny. They were just like playing in a lawn, like a grassy area. And, we walked by and I didn't really say hi because she was in the zone playing with other kids. So I just sort of kind of like eyeballing her to make sure she's okay. And then I continued walking around, showing my sister like the little sights around. And then on the way back, I sort of kind of just paused where she was. Obviously, I was staring at her. I mean, from my view, I was just watching my kid, just
Of
sort of
course.
kind of seeing what she was doing. And my sister is like, smiling, maybe laughing, and we're just having a conversation standing there and probably on the outside looking in, we're probably just awkwardly standing in one spot, like eyeballing kids. But this woman, her daughter was playing with Sophia, a white woman, kids same age. She started giving me the most awkward look.
Mm,
And when I say awkward, it was almost like she was with her eyes telling us to move away.
hmm Like get
And
away from my
yeah,
child.
yeah, Jazzy. She was quick. She wanted to, but
Jazzy ain't got no chill.
she doesn't. She doesn't. So then finally, I was just like Sophia, and then she's like Mama, and then I could see the woman's face like completely change. She, she didn't make eye contact with me after that because obviously she saw I was looking at her, but her face completely changed, and it was just like I don't know if she felt embarrassed or if she felt
Absolutely.
I don't know because these days and age you don't even know what what people are thinking.
Yeah.
So I was like, hi, babe, or hey, love. And then I just continued walking. But my nanny caught on, obviously. She peeps everything. But she was like, after that, she had said to the woman, yeah, that's my boss, or, whatever. And the woman's like, oh, okay. I was just like, ugh.
Well, and I'm sure at some point, uh, Milos is gonna have that too.
Yeah,
Because again, he's super white. He's just and the babies are clearly mixed. They might be light
yeah,
skinned, but those are clearly mixed babies. And
yeah.
someone might be like this, whose whose child whose children are these? Because I mean, I've had people speak on it before where there'd be a little white girl or even a little mixed girl, right? And light skin and
Mhm.
with their black father coming up and someone being like this, are you okay? Do you know this man? Be like this. Wait, what? This is my daughter. This is my son. What is wrong with you?
It's so weird because these people are from in their minds coming from a most genuine place, right? Like they're trying to just make sure everything's okay, but it's just
Yeah,
like you need to look at the bigger picture. You need
yeah,
to see and analyze what's really going on. And talking about analyzing, even when we go out as a family, it's just, I mean, there are a lot of mixed, mixed family or interracial families in Dubai,
for
but it's
sure.
so interesting to see still people just looking at Milosh and I, or then like, or if my babies are in the stroller and they're maybe facing one way, I could see them do the head flip to just sort of kind of see what the baby looks like.
Wow. Like this one? What's that? What's that?
Yeah, and every time I call it out, Milosh is like, "Oh, Leonie, you're overreacting," or "No, that's not it." And I'm like, "Baby, you don't know. You don't
and
know."
and that's
For
the
me,
truth of it
growing
is
up,
he doesn't get it.
he doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. Even me, when I go to Serbia, I mean, his town, like I said, is small. So whenever people see me in his town, it's just like, "Oh, who's that? Like what's going on?" And I'm like, I'm getting the stare. And he's just like, "Oh, Leonie, they're just looking at you because you're beautiful." Like, and I'm like, "Thanks, babe. Like, thanks.
Hey,
Thanks
he knows
for
how
you."
he knows how to say it though. He knows how to
He,
say it.
he does.
He's such a great dude. Now, does that happen? Is it ever in a situation where it's reversed, where you're in a area or surroundings where everyone's looking at him like, who's this white dude?
We haven't gotten there yet. I think when we maybe when we get to New York, maybe we might get that. But then there's also lots of like interracial things going on in New York. But I
Yeah.
still think just like it is here, I still think he might probably get that look over there too.
They'd be like this, ooh, Leonie, look at you, got you a white man. Good job,
Right.
girl. Okay, all right, you okay.
Exactly. I mean,
It's the initial stereotype, the initial reactions are tough.
it is. And I always think back, my senior year, I had a teacher that taught US history and wasn't even on his topic or anything like that. But I was in his class. He's straight up white dude, blonde hair, blue eyes. And I don't even remember what the topic of conversation was, but he was like, "Leonie, stand up." And I stood up
Uh-uh.
and he was like, "You see this? This is what the world is going to look like in the next 100 years. This right here." And I was just like,
It's a lot of
because
pressure.
I had no idea he was even calling me out.
Yeah.
Um, But it's interesting. I mean, obviously, there's more and more mixed kids being born every day. But shout out to my friend Greta, who also just had a beautiful mixed baby.
Wait, not Greta, Greta.
Greta, she just popped on.
Okay, Greta. Greta, how are you?
The most gorgeous girl. Like, oh, she's so cute.
Man, I
So
ain't
cute.
talked to Greta in a minute. Congratulations on the baby, Greta.
Um,
And tell your man I said what's up.
yeah, hey, Flo.
What up, Flow Rider?
But yeah, I
Man,
mean, this
it's
is where
shout out to everybody, shout out to everybody who gets it, and shout out to those who don't get it but want to. And I think that's
yeah.
even more important. White people, black people, Hispanic, Chinese, Japanese, Thai, whatever, wherever you're from, right? Wherever you're from, shout out to everybody who gets it, and shout out to everybody who's trying to understand it better because they haven't had to experience it.
Mm.
It's super important to want to become
Oh,
better. It's super important to learn um, and educate yourselves on all of the cultures, all of the differences, all of the similarities that are there, because that's so overlooked, is that there are so many similarities that we just don't see because the pigment is different or the bone structure is different or what
yeah.
have you. And it's so I just want to make it, this is never a session hating on one race or another race or one culture or another religion. It's always about inclusivity, and it's always about understanding one another for those that don't understand, because when I don't understand something, I'm gonna ask questions, right? And sometimes it might come off as uh ignorance. And to be honest, the definition of that's what it would be, because I don't know. I don't have that education or that understanding. So I'm asking. Uh-oh, we got an in-law.
Oh yeah. Hey, Ange.
But it's like I'm trying to learn because
Jack
I'm
just
trying to.
popped up. She just peeked in the room real quick. I don't know why she's not trying to come in here.
Oh yeah. It's like I'm trying to better myself, and I'm trying to learn, and hopefully other people are trying to better themselves and they're trying to learn so that we can all become greater than what we currently are, because we need help. We need help as a people, all of us. We need help. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, man, it's so interesting to speak with you about it, because you have the American dynamic, you have the international dynamic, you now have incredibly mixed babies. You have you're on top of it. We could even go into the fact that as a woman, it's different than as a man. So there's
Hmm.
so many layers and levels to have this conversation on with you, and I'm glad you've taken the time to do so. I appreciate that. And I think you're fabulous anyway, and I don't get to see you enough because you're out there being, mommy dearest, and I'm just trying to say what's up to Leonie, my homie. I mean, you live down the street, and I don't ever see you.
I know. Listen, you can come anytime. Come anytime.
I know, because
But I
all
do.
you're trying to get is someone to babysit the kids. I know what you're trying to do.
No, my mom's here now.
Oh, so we
They got
good then.
now. So I'm about to be out and about.
Are you
Well,
about to be in these streets?
my leg can't really
True.
be that about. Yeah.
Yeah, we can talk about Leonie trying to dance again, and all of a sudden,
And
hmm
it's so horrible. Like when people first off, when you see it, it's just like, oh,
Whew,
oh,
that's
damn.
a real
What
thing, Mama. That's a real thing. Look
what
at you.
did you do? Right? And I'm like, oh, I just try to keep it real light. Like, oh, I had 3 fractures and 2 torn ligaments. And they're like, what you been doing? Like, what
Yeah,
was that? I was just like, dance.
yeah. You out here thinking you saved the last dance or honey or something. You going, come on,
Mm-mm.
Jessica Alba, you tore your whole leg off.
I know. Been out for a little minute now.
Well, at some point, I got a lot of daytime free. So at some point, now that mom's here, we can go grab a tea or something and talk about some things that has, wheelchair accessibility for you.
Yes, thank you, Mom.
Well, I'm gonna let you get back to the kids. I'm gonna let you get back to the family. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for hopping on here. And that's what I
You
got, man.
Yeah, it was great. I'm so glad to hopefully give a little bit more different perspective, a new insight to some people. And yeah, it was great. I mean, I love staying tuned to all of your episodes. Like, you're doing some great stuff, dude.
Man, I appreciate you. And just real quick, while we all on here, I'm gonna go ahead and throw this up on Instagram. It's gonna be on my IGTV. I'm gonna put it on YouTube. But for those that are on here and those that see this, if there's anybody you want me to speak to, you have a friend that you want me to chat with that's a mixed kid, you have a celebrity that you want to chat with that you want to see on here, tag people, send it to them, or hit me up in my DMs and I'll message them and see if I can get them on here. It's always a friend of a friend that knows somebody, and we can always broaden the conversation, talk to different people, get some more awareness going. So if you have people you want to see on here, comment on here, tag them in it, or send me a DM, let me know. And we'll keep this conversation going for as long as people want to have it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Uh,
boo.
Great seeing you, boo.
Good seeing you, darling. And enjoy your day. All right,
Bye.
mama. Bye bye.